brother and sister, Darlene's daughter. I'm a young person who grew up in the church. I deal with young people all the time. My son is 21 years old, and he is in the church still. One of the things that young people face, and I haven't heard, I hear a lot of them, us, we, parents. Young people emulate what they see. It starts with every single person in this room. We watch when we grow up, from little kids. We watch the sisters, how they carry themselves at church. We watch the brothers. So by the time we get to the point that we are now, you see very few in our age range because of what we have seen. We know what he's told us. We know what he's taught us. We know what we've read, but we watch how he live. Yeah. And then we all have to take personal responsibility because we teach one another. And that's how we get to our children. It's not the children have a problem. We have a problem. So I may not know you personally, but I've watched you. I've watched you since I've been little. You might not have known I've seen you, but I've watched how you carry yourself. I might not have known your name, but I know I've learned to become a woman because of some of the sisters I've seen in here. I may not know all of your names, but I see you, and I thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Great point. Okay, so, oh, brother, Elijah, did you say something? Okay, great, all right. So, we're talking about worship a little bit and our worship experience. Let's talk about our youth ministries. And are our youth, number one, do we have youth ministries? And number two, are the youth ministries effective? And if not, why not?
Well, I think that, once again, the youth ministries that I've come in contact with are not effective. I believe, and I know that it extends back to relationships. Everything that we do in God's kingdom is contingent upon relationships and the healthiness of those. And I believe that the reason that they're not effective is because we have to have, once again, great examples, but as Brother Wesley T. said very finally, is that we only have an hour and a half or so. And if it took God 7 days to create the world, we can't build a healthy relationship in 7 days. So that said, Jesus and Doubting Thomas is the perfect example of a relational prototype. He inspected his wounds, and I think that we have to have some transparency with our young people versus treating them in such a disposable way.
And you know, and when you talk about relationships, and go back to what Sister Darlene said, is something I just want to do a quick little survey real quick, just checking. You know what? In service, we tell our young people when we're talking not to use cell phones and electronic devices. The question is to you, she mentioned kids watch what we do. How many of us use cell phones and electronic devices in church? Just checking our email, checking our, we do. But yet still we tell the kids it's wrong. Now, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying they see what we're doing, and we're saying we're going back to that old thing, do what I say, and not as I do. Okay, all right. Keep going. I think
Youth ministry.
Youth ministry, yes, sir. Brother Freeman, you want to go first?
Where I am, we have a youth ministry, and I think it's very effective.
Okay.
My kids, once a year, they go out to Alonzo Morning's basketball clinic every year. They go to Ringling Brothers, they go to other places, but in order to go to those places, they have to earn points. Mm-hmm. The points are earned by going to the orphan homes and being with the Christian homes for children, where they go and be with the kids who are abused, who've lost their mothers, and they become sisters and brothers with them in these Christian-run homes. They have to have so many points for being in Sunday school. They have to have so many points in doing good to those who are sick and shut in. And so it's a thing where the parents are involved with them, along with getting some kind of good reward for doing something, but the things that they do are church related. You visit the sick, you help with the food program, and things of that nature. What we find in keeping these kids occupied in that way, in our youth program at the end of the year, because they do the sickle cell walks, they get to go on a shopping spree for free. They get other incentives that don't come from us necessarily church, but in community-related activities. And so in that way, but it also takes the parents' involvement. Now, when my kids were coming up to play football and baseball, parents had to be there to stripe the field. They had to be in this concession stand. So our kids, when they get things like that, parents have to be involved in it. If parents ain't involved in it, your kid can't be a part of it. Now, I recognize that there are those kids who don't have parents. For instance, one of the star players for the Atlanta Falcons right now is Devontae Freeman. Devontae grew up right across from our church. When my daughter and her husband went there to Falcon training, Devontae jumped up in his arm because, hey, you used to feed me when I was a kid. You used to clothe my families. I remember you. You were medicine. You see what I'm saying? And so these kids remember, when did we see you? That's what Jesus is going to say, you know. And so we have to teach our kids this kind of responsibility, that they feel that they have accomplished something when we teach them to give and to serve Jesus. That's a part of this character training that our brother was talking about.
So I'm going to say the problem is, I'm going back to the problem. I like with your solution, and one part of your solution, but I think the problem is that our youth ministries are sometimes full of activities without purpose.
That's what I was going to hit on.
Okay, all right, go Tom.
I would also say all of our ministries, I would ask the question, what's the purpose of what we're doing? What are we aiming at? I'll use an example, just real quick and really easy. The book of Ephesians, first 3 chapters, you're one in Christ, chosen by the Father, redeemed by the Son, sealed by the Spirit, all those kind of things. First 3 chapters, very positional, who you are in Christ. Chapter 4, verse 1, have a walk worthy of the vocation, and the rest of it is practical. I think that in the church, what we have done in previous generations is we focused on those first 3 kind of chapters, and so we tried to really push who we are and how we're different, and so we've been identity-based in our ministries, in our youth ministries, and all of our ministries, in our preaching, and all that kind of stuff. You could hear those kind of sermons all the time. But transitioning there in that fourth chapter rather, and go to what does this mean? You know, if you're talking about youth ministry, if you're talking about preaching in general, the goal was, yes, I want you to know who you are, but I want you to know what that means for the rest of your life. Putting off an old man, putting on a new man. So I think that maybe our teaching for a long time, again, has been to distinguish ourselves from somebody else, rather than saying, okay, this is who you are. Now, the job is to make you into a true follower. But Jesus said, make disciples. So I don't know that we've necessarily done that. We've been identity-based in our preaching and teaching.
So I only have about 10 more minutes, and I know y'all got, everybody got some comments, I got 10 more minutes, but, and I'll get you, bro. I see you raise your hand.
Yeah.
Okay, just 1 minute. I want them to, as we look at it, because we talked about inside the walls. But my concern now is outside the walls. In the sense of our kids, and we're going to just address all of it together. Our kids dealing with things in school. They right now they're seeing their friends are homosexuals, all kinds of situations. Everything going on in the schools that what you're protecting your kids from at home, they get exposed to that at school. Their environment is something that we may not be able to relate to. There's words, things, even the pop culture that our kids are dealing with, the rap music and all of that they're ingesting is affecting them. The question is, what or is there a problem with that in relationship to our ministry? And if so, what is it? Just their environment.
Well, let me just say this. I believe that one of the main things that I'm hearing is, one of the things, when you're a child, you want to have fun. And the number one thing that you hear is, you can't have fun being a Christian. That's what our young people literally believe. Whether you believe it or not, whether you think so or not, they think being a Christian means I have to give up my entire life. I can't have no fun. That's stuff you do when you get old and you about to die. So what's happened is our ministries, we're so focused, and I believe we're so focused on, we do have to teach them about being a Christian and being that, but we also have to remember a child also wants to have fun. They need to know that being a Christian doesn't mean you can't have fun. Doesn't mean you can't be, that there is things that you can do as a Christian, and implementing those things in a righteous manner within our youth programs to help them to understand that it's not just that the world, because when they look at the world, like John said, the lust of the eyes, the pride, they look at the world, they fall in love. They're falling in love. They're like, man, look what I can do. I can go to the club and just dance. And I hear my young people say, I just want to have a good time. I don't go to the club necessarily to drink or to do this. I just want to have a good time. They want to have a good time. They're going to have a good time. They're going to have fun. And they're connecting, having a good time. This is what the devil does. The devil has painted the picture to make it appear as having a good time is what the world offers, and you can't have a good time in the church. So I want to get to solution.
So let me ask you a question. Let me just ask a question. I heard someone say earlier on the panel that I need to listen to the music, I need to play the music. And when I start listening to the music, and the music is using, calling women thieves, and calling us ends, and using all kinds of profanity that I don't use, how can I, as that don't use that language anymore, that offends me, that it truly offends me to hear it, how can I get there? How can I get there? Because or is that something I should be doing? Should I be doing that? Help me.
One of the things I learned as a high school teacher and mentoring these young men that come from all kinds of backgrounds, and I had, as part of my young men's group, we have a step team. Mm-hmm. And
so can you step?
Can I step?
Oh, that's all right. You don't have to step.
What count?
Being exposed to those young people in the music, two things stand out to me that I think cause a lot of problem, part of the problem, a lack of understanding, a lack of acceptance. Understanding, like somebody mentioned, even when they were talking about the rap videos talk about back in the day, you had your kind of music. Seemed like whatever generation, whether it's rock and roll, R&B, at some point in time, the older generation had a problem with that new generation's type of music.
Say it.
And this type of dress. some of y'all used to wear platform shoes and bell bottoms and all that other kind of stuff. And
I had them.
but we have to understand that's a process of us growing up and maturing and becoming adults and learning how to accept young adults where they are right now. And letting them know I understand what you're going through because I've been there. And I've done that. And understanding and accepting and say, you know what? Let me just be a guide for you. You know, I'm gonna be here for you. You bump your head, I'm gonna be there to help you to get back up and keep going. Not gonna condemn you because you made a mistake. I'm gonna be there to help you to get back up. Because I always want to go back to that relationship you were talking about earlier. If they know I have somebody I can trust, somebody I can talk to, somebody that's not going to condemn me because I make a mistake, that's somebody that they're going to come back to and going to seek out for guidance and mentorship for the rest of their lives. And I've seen it happen. And one of the things I've learned how to do is not, you know, when you talk about the music, you can use that stuff as teachable moments.
All right.
You know, if you understand that you were there one type of, you know, I grew up in the days of 2 Live Crew. And I was at the club doing all that other kind of stuff, you know, that you did to that kind of stuff. But once I started to listen to what I was listening to, and I had somebody there to help me to understand what I was listening to, that's when I started to make changes in my life. When I got to the point where I came to myself, just like that prodigal son, and said, you know what? I can be doing better than this.
Yes, sir.
I agree with what he said. What we have to understand is that when the children come to us, they have problems as well.
Yeah.
Same like we do as adults. And you got to talk to them in order to find out what those problems are. I look at my grandkids and some of them is out of wedlock, and they have problems with parenting, just one parent. They got all good grades and everything, but they have a problem with one dad do this for them and the other don't do that. You know, so they got other issues. They got bullied. Got called to a house the other night. Young people, a guy was going to kill himself, 15 years old. And I asked him, are you being bullied in school? Or what's your problem with this and that? He didn't want to talk too much, but after I found out that his problem was that he had a problem with because he lost a girlfriend to another guy because another guy had a job. So if we listen to the people, if we listen to the young people, we got to find out what their problem is. And all these ones I'm talking about, we had no problem teaching them and baptizing them to come to the Lord. Matter of fact, when they came, 10 of them came at one time. I mean, they could get to the scriptures fast, and I get to them. But they have other problems, you know, besides the Bible. They wanna be heard. They really want to be heard. I work in the jail system. They want to be heard. And not saying that we can answer every problem or every situation that they got, but yes, they lack recreation, and we have held them back off of some things, you know. We just need to get them involved, because some of the kids not going to disrespect adults. Well, I mean, they're not going to disrespect adults, but if we ask them to get involved, they're very intelligent, they know, and they will help us.
So as we, and I got to hear Brother Iverson, because, come on, Brother Iverson. And then after Brother Iverson, I'm going to ask the panel to prepare. They got to make one statement as we close out, because we're ready to close out.
I want to say something to all of us who are here today. My wife and I, we've been blessed with 6 children, 4 boys and 2 girls. I have 9, soon to be 10 grandchildren. I've heard a lot of things said, but good people listen. The foundation of the family, the foundation of the home does not start with the school.
Amen.
It doesn't start with the church. It starts at home.
Right. That's it.
The problem we're having today, and I'm not naive, many of our children are not getting the foundation from the home. And until we get back, mother and father, establishing the family and the home as God ordained, we will continue to have problems.
Yes.
I'm all for the church. I'm all for the school. But when you look at the Bible, God's people, in the beginning, God said the family. God said the home. Deuteronomy, Joshua, Samuel. What is it? Noah had 3 sons. Noah had 3 boys. What is it that kept them boys in place working with their dad and mom? It started at home. What about Timothy? From a child, thou hast known the scriptures. 1 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 5. Paul said it started with your grandmother. Grandma passed it on to the daughter. The daughter passed it on to Timothy.
Yes, yes.
The foundation for the family and the home starts with God's word. And until we can instill that in mom and dad, and I'm not naive, I've been around, I'm not naive as the father of being at all of this, but the foundation for the family and the home must start with God.
So tomorrow, Brother Addison, one of the things I'll be looking for you, and maybe we want to have you tomorrow. One of the things, if we talk about the family and the foundation, I want us to drill down and think tonight, what are some of the strategies that church can use to go and help those families, all different types of families. What are those strategies? And we don't want to talk about it today, but think about what are those strategies we can use to help deal with the families. Right. Brother, you better say something. Yes, sir, Brother Larry. You know, when these senior ministers stand up, I got to give them some.
Only.
I guess I'm kind of like Brother Iverson. I have 5 children, and I'm not trying to take credit because I was working, right? But when you talk about reestablishing family relations, my children came home from school. They did their homework, and the next thing they had to do was their Bible work, or whatever. And they did that Bible work 5 days a week. On Saturdays, they did get a break. On Sundays, they hide their schoolwork for church. I know it can work. If you train up the child the way God said do it, it's going to work. Not only that, we were educated. 4 of those children with college degrees. I have, my daughter is a doctor. I have another one that's a registered nurse. I have another one, I forgot what her field was now, but it was high in her field. And my son, even though he left the church and he was trained, but he left to go to Harvard. And I don't know what Harvard done to him or for him, right? But he left the church and now he's at one of the biggest churches in New Haven, Connecticut, Methodist. But it wasn't because he wasn't trained. And I'm hoping that one day he will change, but if he don't, not that he don't know the truth, he has a solid foundation, and we know we gave him a solid foundation, and we know we educated them, and every one of them know the Bible. I got a daughter that's married to a preacher, gospel preacher, Reginald Jones, Dothan, Alabama. My other daughter, who's a nurse, doctor, she's in Augusta, Georgia. She works with everybody. She goes everywhere, giving people free medicine and doing the free surgery and all that stuff. My other daughter lives in Jackson, Tennessee, who is the church secretary for Lavelle Hayes. And that's not a brag, it's just that my daughter, my wife, taught those kids. And she taught them well. and they still members of the Church of Christ at Step 1.
Praise the Lord. It's great.
Praise God. All right. So as the panel wraps up, we want them to give one statement concerning what we've heard, and then we'll be wrapping up for today. And tomorrow, we're going to come and ask you tonight to think about what you've heard today. And we want you to come with really kind of bring what you think are some solutions or some strategies. Maybe not, maybe high level. High level may mean we may need to look at our curriculums in our Bible school classes. We may figure out how to work with our family. We need to think about those where we can give the congregations some things that they need to do. And then with congregations that have very successful ministries, such as the youth ministry with, in Miami, we need to hear about that and figure out how we can implement those in our congregation. So let's think about that. Yes, sir.
One statement, but in 3 parts. How about that?
That brother, always long, ain't he?
One statement, but in 3 parts. We're disconnected because of an avoidance for years from being attached to quote-unquote social gospel. It's the thing that kept many of our ministers out of the civil rights movement. There's always been a focus for staying away from being relevant. I don't quite understand it. When you go to Acts 17, for instance, when he says it is in him we live and move and have our being, you look back at that and research that quote. Paul was quoting an ancient Greek poet, so he was very well aware of the culture and what the people around him were reading. He started to an unknown God. So again, he knew what they were doing. You cannot, you salt and light, all that kind of stuff, you can't be that if you're not in contact. Second thing is this, we talk about education, it's been said, there are 168 hours in a week, we got them for 1 hour, that ain't enough time. Malcolm X said it like this, I believe, only a fool would let his enemy educate his kids. So maybe what we need is some Christian schools. And finally, I'll go back to my original point. If we're going to use the Bible as a standard, and I believe we should and we must, then we must back up and make sure that we become apologetically sound. And it's going to take a lot of work from all of us. It takes a lot of work from me, even with having been trained. It takes a lot of intentional stuff and a lot of engagement with people, because I need to know what it is their doubts are about and then study to figure out how I can prove the Bible, because I can't use something as a standard that they don't believe is reliable and provable.
Thank you. Thank you.
Brother Freeman?
If our Sunday school and our Bible studies are ineffective, as the saying goes, if you keep doing something over and over again, like our policy on Cuba for over 50 years, and don't change it and nothing changes. But like we say, over and over again and nothing changes. Only a fool does that. So right now we're dismantling our Sunday school and taking another look at it, because it didn't start with us in the first place. It started out at Methodist Church. And we've incorporated and followed their form. And so we're dismantling it now and say, look, what does Liberty City need? And we're going to build on that. We still have Bible studies, but the traditional Sunday school is out right now. And we'll tell you more about that tomorrow.
I would love to hear that. Okay.
As it relates to our young people, I believe that a message of grace will attract them, but a culture of grace will keep them. That said, there is nothing in a caterpillar that suggests that it's going to fly away and be a butterfly. And so, beloved people of God, please do not doubt what these young people can become.
Watch out. Watch out.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I'm going to say this, and then let these people speak. I believe that what these men have said has been outstanding. And as also being a nurse, one thing that I look at this problem is this, that the home is like the immune system for the child. You need your immune system to fight off disease. Without a proper and effective immune system, you are susceptible to disease, to viruses. And if the home is broken, is sending a child into the world with a broken spiritual immune system. And the devil is going to take advantage of a child that's immune system is susceptible to any and everything that he presents them. You are literally making it easy for the devil when you don't put the things in place. When the family is broken, it's a child with no spiritual, strong immune system going into a world where the devil has Facebook, music, internet now, all kind of different avenues to infiltrate the minds and the hearts of our young people, and has, like Brother Leonard said, has more time than the church has to do what it needs to do. And if the home is broken, what we're trying to do is fix an immune system that is susceptible to any and everything.